You know, we tend to think of the global energy market like a game with set rules. But what if one of the biggest players on the board is quietly rewriting the entire rulebook? That's what we're digging into today. China's incredibly complex and, frankly, often misunderstood strategy for its own oil security.
And it all kicks off with a really interesting puzzle. Okay, so for years, everyone's been worried that in a conflict, Iran could just shut down the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, it's the choke point for a massive chunk of the world's oil. They've got the ability, and a lot of times they've had the motive. So, why haven't they ever pulled the trigger?
The answer to that question, it turns out, reveals something so much bigger. It pulls back the curtain on the hidden dynamics of a new global power bloc and a really brilliant long-term strategy to completely reshape the world's energy markets. To even start cracking this puzzle, you've got to meet the key players. They're part of an informal alliance people have started calling the CRINK bloc. That's China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. And this isn't just some random group of countries. There's a very specific internal logic holding them together.
And right there, in that internal logic, that's where we find our answer. It's the relationships inside this bloc that actually control what each member can and can't do on the world stage.
So take a look at this. What it reveals is this incredibly delicate balance. You have the oil importers, China and North Korea, and they are perfectly counterweighted by the exporters, Russia and Iran. It's a perfect 50-50 split. That makes the entire bloc as a whole basically neutral to the price of oil. But look how fragile this is. See what happens if you add just one more big importer like India? The whole thing gets completely upended. And this right here, this is the heart of the matter. If Iran were to block the Strait of Hormuz, yeah, it would cause chaos, but the massive price spike would absolutely devastate its #1 customer, China. So in short, Iran can't use its biggest geopolitical weapon without crippling its most important ally. That's what we call the CRINK Paradox. But here's the thing. China knows this. They are acutely aware of this vulnerability, and they are not just sitting around hoping for the best. Instead, what they've done is develop this incredibly sophisticated, multi-part strategy to completely neutralize this threat. Their whole approach isn't to just cross their fingers and hope for cheap oil forever. No way. The real goal is to build a portfolio of hedges, kind of like a big financial investor would. Each one of these hedges is designed to manage risk and, over the long term, bend the entire energy equation in their favor.
So this strategy, it's got a bunch of moving parts. First, they're locking down their supply, right? They're getting discounted oil from partners like Russia and Iran, while at the same time building a massive strategic reserve of over 1 billion barrels for any emergency. Second, they're tackling demand at home, pushing super hard into EVs and renewables. And finally, they're actually attacking the system itself, controlling foreign refineries, building new infrastructure, and even challenging the US dollar by settling oil deals in their own currency. It is a full spectrum plan for control.
And the scale of this operation, I mean, it is just staggering. That billion-barrel oil reserve we mentioned, that's just one piece of the puzzle. We're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar, multi-decade effort to totally rewire their relationship with energy. This isn't just some plan on a whiteboard, it's a reality they are building right now. So what does this all add up to? Well, when you put all these different pieces together, you start to realize that China isn't just playing the old oil game anymore. It's creating a brand new one with a completely different objective.
And here it is. This is the end game. See, the goal isn't to escape oil risk. That's basically impossible for any modern economy. The real goal is to, well, export it. In the old model, a global price shock would hit China hard. The new strategy is designed so that the next time a crisis hits, the US and its allies are the ones left absorbing all that volatility.
So the grand plan is pretty clear when you lay it all out. Secure your own supply at a discount, reduce your own demand at home, and weaken the old financial system that underpins it all. And what's the end result? Your strategic rivals are the ones left holding the bag when the next crisis inevitably hits.
What we're seeing is a quiet, generational shift in the tectonic plates of global power. It's about moving risk from one side of the world to the other. And that leaves us with a pretty critical question for the future. As China successfully rewrites the rules of the energy game, who's going to be the one left paying the price at the pump?